Hello and welcome to the Cyber Den with your host, me, Jake the Voice Pa. Now we've got another guest right here on the Cyber Den, ready for another interview. Please welcome professional voice actor Jacob Craner, better known as the voice of the Cleric of Chaos, Havik, from Mortal Kombat 1. Thanks for coming, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty well. How about on your end?
Oh, fantastic. Getting into the holiday season, just trying to get already trying to line up business for next year so I can enjoy the holidays.
Good. Okay, so let's start off with the usual bread and butter question. What inspired you to become a voice actor?
Oh, let's see. I right out of high school, I actually went to school. I went to a trade school for audio engineering. So I actually come from. I do have a theater background from high school, but beyond that, I went straight into audio engineering school. And being from the West Coast of the United States, I wanted to go to the biggest market for audio engineering that I could, and I couldn't bring to myself to go to the East Coast to New York and be that far from home, so I came to Los Angeles in sunny Southern California. But then I immediately got a job internship at a voiceover recording studio called Soundworks, and I was lucky enough to get just blasted right into the world of recording primetime animation cartoons, video games. I was lucky enough right when I came in as an intern, they were recording Fallout New Vegas, and they were like, we need dialogue editors. So that was my crash course in the video game world. And so beyond that, with my theater background, I would spend a lot of times in sessions watching legends and just monster voice actors do the things. I'm like, man, I want to do that. Forget this engineering stuff. And and so I made the transition. I went and brushed up on my acting skills, learned how to act, and started the journey. And I've been a SAG-AFTRA union member since 2017, and my voice acting journey probably started really pursuing it seriously probably in 2015, I would say. I was dabbling and given opportunities before then, but it was nothing that I concretely pursued as a career. So 2015 was really the point of like, I'm going to try and make this work.
So, would you say you have any favourite voice actors or actors in general, anything like that?
Oh, man. So many that I've, had the pleasure of working a lot with. Let's see. Yuri Lowenthal is a very nice gentleman. Kari Wahlgren is a very nice person, wonderful woman. Roger Craig Smith is a pleasant guy. Kevin Michael Richardson is probably one of my favorite voice actors and favorite people that I've met. I remember one time he came into a session. We were recording some like Disney Junior show, and there was a 7-Eleven, a convenience store right down the end of the block, and he bought us all lotto tickets on our break and be like, come on, if you win, you have to share it with me. So, a lot of the people who come in for like cartoons and like video games like that are just fun, really cool, down-to-earth people like that. And that's just scratching the surface. I'm very grateful for the people I've gotten to meet and learn from watching their performances as a wee little assistant engineer. But like other favorite actors. Let's see who's on screen that I like after just before the interview that I told you that I hardly watch any like streamers or TV. I mean, I'm totally up to speed on what's going on. Let's see. Often I am great at thinking of stuff after the fact. And I save all my improv and in the moment for the booth, it seems, and then it's all cached by the time I get to my day-to-day life. So I'll come back to when we're in the middle of another question. I'll randomly spread out like, oh yeah, that actor, I like them. So
this is going to be fun to edit. Just 15 minutes down the line each time. Like, oh God, I'm going to put this in.
Yeah, you're welcome. A gift from one Jake to another. You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do that to you, I swear.
Thank goodness, thank goodness. I hope I don't have at least 12 mental breakdowns editing this audio, but we'll see, won't we? We'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh, anyone in Lord of the Rings, I'll just say that right now before we get to, I think Andy Serkis is awesome, especially he was in that, and was it Andor? That, summaries in the past couple of years, that Star Wars show that came out. Not that, like, Star Wars is supposed to be like a grounded, natural universe, but I thought that Andor story I felt was super just real, and I don't know. I thought it was exquisite acting, and partly Andy Serkis's performance in there.
Let's jump over to the next question. Perhaps your most famous role is the voice of Havik for Mortal Kombat 1. So,
Yeah.
how did you get
Yay.
that role? And how would you describe the experience voicing him for the recording session as well?
Oh man. Well, let's see. I got that role just by auditioning, and that's funny because the voice director Dominic, I asked him like, "How'd you find me? You know, like, what made you decide?" And he's like, "Well, we needed someone who sounded like they're conveying the right type of anger and just stewing frustration and rage." And he's like, "And you sounded like you were conveying that, so we picked you." So I'm like, "Oh." So it was literally just and you know, some shows and games will have you go through multiple, you know, you'll go through a callback, maybe 2 callbacks, maybe even more in front of different members of the development team or the publisher or the studio, who's ever making it. But this was just a booking or an audition, and then I got it. And how was it voicing him? Well, first of all, simply awesome. Duh. But in a more elaborate response, I get a lot of auditions because I can do a lot of stuff in my like upper range. So a lot of things for like teenagers or young adults or sometimes kids and stuff. So, and my voice doesn't sound as low as it does in my head, of course. But for Havik, at least I get to get down and more of the some of that like gravel and some of that some of the my lower register. And I'm a metalhead, and as a in my formative years, I was in a metal band, so I kind of get to use some of that. And I was in choir all of high school, so I got to use some of that, you know, guttural diaphragm support and really get down there for, you know, a lot of those big, kind of the same type of stuff. I used to scream up on stage. But I feel like with extreme vocals for music too, as in with Havik, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And as long as you substantiate stuff with proper diaphragm support and breathing, then you can really do that stuff. Still, you know, not for like 4 hours at a time, but just with longevity. You know, you can do that for a career if done responsibly.
Would you say there are any favourite lines or moments that really stuck out to you when playing Havik?
Let's see. My Havoc's introduction to the world was in I forget the specific name of the trailer, but it was a trailer with him, and I believe Reptile was in that trailer. And I only had one line in the trailer, but I think they chose a really, really awesome one, which is the "You will accept chaos by choice or by force." That one was a good choice. If I was gonna have one line to introduce the character to the world, I'm glad it was that one, and not like, where are my car keys? Oh, there goes my alarm. I have to take my probiotic." But no one wants to hear Havik say that, or maybe they do. Little slice of Havik life. Beyond that, from the game, um, oh, what is it? There's a line from the scene where he gets his face melted off, and it's something, no, maybe not verbatim, but it's something along the lines of like, "I'm not finished yet," and I thought that played very well in the scene and was a nice little crescendo in that cutscene. And of course, all the intro dialogue. There's so much fun intro dialogue because when we're recording that, it's not with the other actor. Even Dominic, the director, asked, like, "Do you want to just go for these, or do you want me to read them with you?" I usually have him read them with me, but and I'm glad people made like compilations of the intro dialogue because, you know, I had no idea how the conversation was going to go with other characters until the game came out. So it was really awesome seeing all of our recorded indirect but made direct interactions with the other actors in the cast. Super awesome to see.
What's your reaction to the very positive fan response to your performance, especially considering how fans have waited over 15 years for Havik to actually return in a mainline Mortal Kombat game?
Sure. And, it is obviously well, in canon, Havoc's like timeless, right? He could be hundreds, it could be thousands of years old or whatever. But he's obviously an earlier version of himself in here, and especially when you first see him when he still has his face. I'm beside myself with just gratitude because, when people are that anticipatory for a character's return, and, Havok was a large, considerable part in the MKX, the comic series with DC. And, returning characters like that they can go either way, especially when people have expectations and, they really want it to live up to their expectations. And so, I know we didn't get to see him with his awesome Chaos helmet. There's the credit scene, the mid credit scene or end credit scene where I'm walking down the steps and I drop a mace on some guy's head and I'm wearing a sweet helmet there, which is great. I'm glad people have been receptive, even though, it may not be the Havok that was depicted in, was it Mortal Kombat Deception? Was that it?
Yeah, that's his debut.
But that means that we get to now see, since we're starting with Havok at a different time, then maybe we get to see him turn into that Havok, to see where that Chaos helmet comes from. Opens up a world of possible story and places for the character to grow in. And not just saying that because I want them to hire me back. That too, though. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can find some convention representation and come out and meet people. And there's some wonderful artwork out there. And very soon I've been tabbing some artists that I really like that I'm hopefully going to get prints made from so I can, do signings, sell those, use it as an alternate source of income. And I'm just stoked that people want to draw him. after me performing him, so it feels great.
So have you played much of Mortal Kombat 1, and if so, do you main Havok, or have you not got your hands on the game yet?
I have not gotten my hands on the game yet. I've been stuck in when I have a big old backlog of games that I visit when I get time to game, but it's on the list in there. I did a little bit of Starfield. I then did some Cities Skylines 2, because that came out recently. And I still have to play because I was in Halo Infinite. I play the Jackals, the little bird lizard men with the shield in Halo Infinite, and that's still on my list. And that came out, 2 years ago. But that's in my Microsoft Game Pass queue. So yeah, I'll get there. I can't wait to. I'm definitely going to try maining him. And if Cyrax ever comes to this iteration of Mortal Kombat, then I'm definitely going to main Cyrax, because Cyrax was my favorite as a kid, because I remember that movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Cyrax with his hair always reminded me of Predator. So I loved Cyrax as a kid.
Well, on the plus side, at least Cyrax is available as one of those, like tag-in characters who can slide in, do a quick smack or special move. So,
oh, sure, yeah.
So there's that, Havok plus Cyrax as your combat buddy. I can't remember the name. Someone's going to correct me in the comments when I upload it to YouTube. But still. Okay, so you actually ended up predicting my next question, which was about voicing the Jackals from Halo Infinite, which I heard.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I heard you had a lot of fun doing that, considering you are a Halo fan as well. So tell us more about how you got it, recording it, etc. Tell us more.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I got that audition. The time span from the audition to booking that was probably like 2 months, and I remember it didn't say they were Jackals specifically in the casting breakdown, but I read the description, I read the audition sides, and I'm like, oh, this is so Jackals from Halo. Because a lot of these video game auditions, obviously, they're very popular, so a lot of it is very confidential, and They like to keep the audition contents under lock and key. So it's kind of that tightrope walk of we need to give the actor enough information to for them to give us the performance that we want, but we also don't want to, let too many cats out of the bag. So I had an intuition. I'm like, this sounds like Jackals from Halo. I'm sure it is. So I kind of just did what I always imagined a jackal sounding like. And, what I remember, they're like, screeches from past games. And that ended up being a handful of sessions down at Side LA in Marina Del Rey here in Los Angeles with the wonderful director Pierce O'Toole. He's a wonderful man. And we had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, I didn't want it to end because it was so fun. And, during the session, I would kind of like pantomime like I had my little Covenant charging blaster and the shield up just to keep myself in the zone. I'm glad they put some fun dialogue in there. Like there's some, I remember there's some fun dialogue. It's like, Eager, retire, get cabin by lake, shoot fish. I love bringing, a little levity, little Easter eggs to performances where appropriate. In which, sorry, going off like the confidentiality with auditions on Mortal Kombat, the audition dialogue was nothing to do with the game. It had something to do with like Seoul, Korea, and something about like a princess or something. So it was all dialogue that embodied like the emotions that they wanted me to convey, but none of it. There was no indicator that any of it was related to Mortal Kombat. It was all just anonymous.
Now, you also lended your voice to Smite as quite a few characters like Dark Angel, Muzenkab, Cryptic, Death Anubis, Darkest Night, Jablanc, Necromancer Zonqui. I really hope I'm not butchering these pronunciations. But anyway, so how would you describe your experiences voicing for this game and these characters?
The X one, that one's you would have no idea. It's Xbalanque, I believe, and I believe he is either like an Aztec or a Mayan, like a Mesoamerican, Central American mythical character. I believe is that guy. But before I ever acted for them, I edited dialogue for Smite and Paladins, and then a little bit of what's that other high-res game? Rogue Company, something like that. And so by the time I made my transition into acting, I knew exactly like the format of the script, and I had to edit it 1,000 times, and so I already knew exactly what they were going for, and and could just probably recite the order of the script by heart at the time. But a lot of those were an absolute blast. I think he's still the current director on them, but they ended up getting directed by my good friend Phil Bach, and yeah, it's nice. It's super awesome getting to work with your friends that you've kind of like come up in the industry together, or they've seen my journey firsthand because I know them in real life, and they're like, hey, now we get to work together. So that's a pretty awesome feeling, and that's how it's been on Smite. Which awesome on Smite 2 is a good amount of those characters. A lot of those characters were like voices and archetypes that I've always wanted to use, like the cat mage. I've had this voice in the Rolodex for a long time, and I'm like, oh, finally I get to use that. And same thing with some of those voices. One's like a really deep, like monster demon thing, and I'm like, oh, finally I get to use my demon monster growls. I always like it when I get hired for monsters, zombies, stuff like that, because hearkening back to my coming up as a metal singer and all that jazz, it relates directly to that, because I get to use a lot of those same trainings and skills. Plus, who doesn't want to scream like an orc? I have yet to be an orc, but if there's casting directors out there, meat's back on the menu. So, man flesh.
You heard him, folks. Anyone needing an orc out there, be sure to give Jacob here a call. And if you've got any spare voice lines for me, then I certainly wouldn't mind as well. I need to put bread on the table and not have to rely on eating ramen every day.
Brothers in Orkhood, 2 Jakes.
Perfect.
What is it? What do you smell? Man flesh.
Meat's back on the menu, boys. See, we're perfect. Hire us both.
Yeah.
We're a group act. Anyway, so Any of these characters here that you voiced for Smite, any particular standout lines, moments, anything like that for any of these?
Well, there's one with the Necromancer Zong Kui. He's the kitty mage, the cranky little fat cat kitty. Like if Garfield or all you old school, if Heathcliff was a a mage. There's one line, like one of his powers is summoning forth, like casting frogs, like a wave of frogs. And they had a line in there, but they kept one of my improvs, which was, I think the line like, "Go forth, my froglings," was an improv. And so I was stoked that they kept that.
Now, you've been in many other titles and animations like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Genshin Impact, Star Fox Zero Short as Falco, and so much more. So, which other roles have stood out to you and why? You know, tell us more about pretty much anything that's really stood out to you in your career.
Okay, sure. So, one that goes back to saying like, oh, finally I get to use disgusting throat noises that I've always had, in my back pocket. But for the remaster of Demon's Souls, I believe, which is the same developer as like Dark Souls, that whole universe, I believe. But fact check. Don't hold it against me if I'm anyway. But I got to play what were called plague babies in that, and they're these little, just corpuscly, skinless little demon babies that crawl around a swamp, and that's all stuff like, and just like disgusting zombie baby noises that I was super stoked. And I got to use like I won't do it on mic, but I can screech like really high, like Nazgul high, speaking of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I won't blow up your preamp, but or mine for that matter. But I finally got to use that on that character. Robbie in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was awesome. And I need to make prints and stuff for him too, because I still get a lot of love for him. And Zelda, another one with Halo and Mortal Kombat, they're all like on the list of like childhood game franchise. If teenage Jacob saw me that I was in them today, he'd be blasting off to the moon with disbelief. So it really crosses stuff off the bucket list for me. What else? Let's see. Definitely Robbie. Definitely the Plague Babies. I'm not bringing up my IMDb. No way.
Don't be surprised if IMDb kind of flubs up information. It's completely screwed up at least half of the stuff on mine.
Oh yeah, I have to, be diligent about that. Well, Fallout came full circle because one of the first things I worked on in LA was Fallout New Vegas, and I got to be a psychopathic wastelander in Fallout 76, so that was pretty rad. Star Fox, of course, is another childhood franchise, and I'm hoping, even though I was just in, a short, I don't think there's any current voice for Falco, so maybe if Nintendo decides to make another Star Fox, that'd be awesome if I was in the running for that. Pretty please. No, but Lego 2K Drive, I got to be Lego pieces because I loved Legos as a kid. I like Legos now. There's some Lego helicopters on my in a Lego space shuttle perched on one of my bookshelves. But those are definitely the standouts that I can think of at the top of my head for sure.
You've spoken a few times about, of course, your experience as a singer. So could you tell just a bit more about this?
Sure. Well, let's see. I've been singing since I was a little kid, and my parents put me in piano lessons when I was 6. They never forced me, be like, you need a da-da-da-da-da. But, they're kind of in the camp of like, let's, just let him try stuff, and then whatever he naturally gravitates toward, then that's what he'll gravitate toward. So, yeah, started singing and playing piano from an early age. Don't ask me to play piano though. I can't play piano very well now. But just being like musical plays growing up. There was some like little traveling theater company that would come around to small communities because I grew up in rural mountain communities called the Missoula Children's Theater that would come through, and all the local kids could try out. Da 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 da. And then I got to high school and wanted to do as much choir, because choir was actually fun for me in high school. And sometimes when you're that age, a teenager, you just want to do the stuff. You're starting to get to that age where you're like, I just want to do the stuff that I want to do, and I don't want to do math. I don't want to do whatever government class or physics or whatever, whatever your disinterests are. But I just wanted to do choir, and I I ended up taking PE, like physical education. I did that as an online class in high school just so I could have more have more room for choir. And because yeah, I hated math. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just sucked at it. I was just bad at it. And so choir was the fun work that made me do the critical thinking that I wanted to do. I didn't do any physical education at all. I just lied on my report sheets, because how it worked, it had like a little online interface, and you had to how many jumping jacks did you do this week? Da-da-da-da-da, have your parents sign off on it. My parents didn't care, but and then I was in a few bands. Like I said, I was in a metal band. I was in a cover band throughout high school where we did a lot of hodgepodge stuff and would just perform around town. A lot of Led Zeppelin. I remember specifically having to wear my extra tight pants to sing It's been a long time since rock and roll. Some of that Robert Plant stuff. It was Led Zeppelin was really getting high up there for me. And then I was in a metal band and actually an acoustic poppy band when I first came out to Los Angeles. But then Los Angeles was just like a meat grinder as far as, especially in your early 20s. I came out to LA when I was 19. And so I quit being in bands and stuff just because it took so much energy just to exist. So, but I still make music today. I have a baritone 6-string Jericho Fusion 6 that I have the nut filed down and custom gauge strings put on there so I can tune it down to drop F and play all the groove metal that I want. And I'm hopefully going to be releasing some metal projects in the future. Not me doing all the writing and arranging and instrumentation, and then I have friends doing vocals, and then I have a friend playing bass on it. And yeah, besides that, I have a Breedlove nice acoustic guitar that I love when I not in the headbanging mood. Got a beautiful mandolin that my grandfather gave to me. Yeah, we're still keeping the music alive, baby.
That's great to hear. Then you just look over at me with my my electric triangle skills, yeah, woo, oh boy. Actually,
well, man, trust me, I feel like this is like the 6th time I've decided to relearn guitar from the very beginning, but it's actually sticking this time. So, the best reason for making music in my ripe old age of 33 is collaboration. There's something to. I mean, a lot of times I'll write out songs and structures of songs the way I like them, but then give them to people with complete creativity and autonomy just to see what they do with it. Because, I don't know, collaboration is some of the best parts of being an artist, both musically and in the voiceover realm, That's a very rewarding part of voiceover, is just the collaboration to make a performance the best it can be.
Absolutely agree with you there, and hey, shout out to any other collaborators out there. If you ever want to collaborate with Jake the Voice or Jake Cleaner, give us a shout to either of us. Maybe we might say yes.
I come from a long line of crane operators, of craners.
And I come from a long line of people getting a decent enough score in golf, hence par. For real this time, let's get back on topic and let's ask this question. Now, are there any other things, any other projects, games, shows, anything like that you'd love to get your voice in?
Oh, I would love to be a ghost in StarCraft. I played a lot of StarCraft as a kid. I was a Blizzard kid. I played a lot of World of Warcraft. I played a lot of StarCraft until I had my intervention with myself about World of Warcraft because it got a little too serious there in my teenage years. But yeah, any other let's see. I loved Soul Calibur as a kid, and since I'm already in a fighting game, like I would love to be in a Soul Calibur game. I'd love to be a Starcat. Let's see. What's the line? Ghost line from StarCraft. Oh yeah. Somebody call for an exterminator. Something like that. That's the line. And then it would really be awesome to be Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe. That'd be a fun one. I played a lot of a game this year and last year called Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. It'd be awesome to get in that franchise. That's such an awesome game. Ugh, it rules. I would love to do more zombie work. And whatever it does, it's not a like what's that old Xbox game? I'm not sure if they make new ones still, but Left 4 Dead, a Left 4 Dead type game. I'd love to lend my disgusting throat noises to that. And that's a pretty good list. I'll leave it at that. I could probably go ad nauseum for Oh, I want to be in a Total War franchise. I love real-time strategy and RTS, and I played a lot of Rome 2 Total War. I gravitate more toward the real history ones since I am a student of history. Not a very good student, but I love history. But yeah, getting to voice Roman Legatus or a Germanic Oathsworn, one of those guys, would really make my day. Let me voice an emperor. Let me be Caligula or Nero, one of those psychopaths. I'm good at being psychopaths.
Now, when you're not voice acting, making music, singing, all that kind of stuff, how do you like to relax?
I love to climb mountains. I live about 3 or 4 hours down the highway from a mountain range called the Sierra Nevada, and even the local San Gabriel mountain ranges are great. But I find it's a good yin and yang. It allows me mentally to live in the big city. The fact that I can get out and just seek solitude and just not be surrounded by people. When you live in a city, it wears on you when when you don't get any real privacy because you're always surrounded by people. So I love mountain climbing and hiking. I used to rock climb. I would get back into that too if I had a steady climbing partner over here. But that could very well be in my future. Hopefully, just need to make the investment on gear again. I already have the rope. I just need the other investments. I love to cook. I'm a rather savvy home cook, and love watching YouTube channels on cooking. Are you hip to They're Brits, Sorted Food?
I wouldn't look over to me.
You know that channel?
No, I don't. I wouldn't look over to me for anything cooking related. I'm clueless about that realm.
Well, I don't know if Mike, Barry, Jamie, Ben, Kush, any of the guys, if any of you just happened to tune into this radio show and are listening, I love you guys. Thanks for all the cooking tips. They're listening to that cooking channel is helps me study like accents because it's listening to people who actually speak the accent instead of like going to like an accent coach, listening to people who actually speak the language how they do in their everyday lives. So I get a lot of accent practice from cooking shows.
Jacob, let me just say it's been a blast getting you on board. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jake.
Now, before we round things off, is there anything that you'd like to say to your many fans out there?
Oh, man, so much. But if I was going to distill it down, thank you for being the fans that you are. Have just been beside myself with gratefulness at the response to Havik. I share your passion of video games with you. And yeah, it just feels great to have people receive my work so positively and with so much kindness. So that being that, just be kind. The always general but always important. Just be kind when you can.
And I'd personally like to thank all of my wonderful listeners out there for tuning into another great interview right here on the Cyberden. Jacob, thank you so much, and stay safe out there. Looking forward to any other crazy cool characters that you'll be inevitably voicing in the future.
Oh yeah, at the end of this month, everything is under a strict NDA, as you probably know. But if you follow me on jacobcraner.vo on Instagram or Jacob Craner on X on Twitter, then I will tell you. I even have announcements probably coming up at the end of this month. Really wish I could say what they're for, but you'll just have to follow me there and see what's up. And then keep an eyeball out on those channels, because I am getting my Streamily up and coming, because I would love to share amazing artists' Havik artwork with you, with my signature on it if you want it. And I'm also on Cameo if you want Havik or any other character that I've done that you might like to give you a personalized message. Just keep it PG-13, all you dirty dogs out there. But so yeah, you're only truly gonna know if you follow me on my socials. So I try to keep up as much as possible on the happenings of what I'm in on there. So follow me and stay tuned.
Be sure to do that then, folks. Anyway, Jake the Voice is signing off, so thanks for listening, everyone, and have a good one.
Attention, combatants! This is Havik of Mortal Kombat speaking. Keep listening to Jake the Voice on the Cyberden, or else chaos will reign supreme. And I'll see you in your realm soon enough.